issuing a correction on a previous post of mine regarding the terror group ISIL. You do not, under any circumstances, gotta hand it to them. This video is long, and it is not for people who are mad at me, because that I don't really care about, but it is for the people who feel they were betrayed by me, which is fair and gnaws at me, and which is why I'm speaking to you now in what appears to be a dungeon full of discarded baby toys and clothes. You should know that my baby is healthy and fine. He's just growing, and I don't have anywhere to put his stuff. I'm going to start 50,000 feet up and then really get into the nitty-gritty of the 3 videos that I made about artificial intelligence, which we'll call AI for the purposes of keeping this video borderline manageable. These videos were released together because they appeared to me to at least represent a complete thought. They were an arc that was intended to end critically, and I hoped that they would be viewed together, and at one point I thought about releasing them all on the same day, which I didn't. Would that have been better? No. Nothing really would have made this better except for not putting out the videos. Let's start with why. Why did I make videos about AI? It's because I'm interested in it. I've been interested in generative black metal for years and years and years. That's been on the This Exists target list for a long time. I thought the FN Mecha story was fascinating because it represented kind of the opposite end of the tech utopia storytelling that I've always been interested in with things like, Minecraft music festivals. Just a really dark, capitalist, horrible version of that vision of the internet. And Vocaloid is Vocaloid. I've always wanted to do it, but I never had a way of cracking it. And the idea of AI's implications on that community, on that music, on that scene, on that movement struck me as the way to tackle it. So I am not being paid by Sam Altman to make these videos. I wish I was. That would be great. I would just fuck off to an island. Instead, I'm in this basement surrounded by baby trash. I thought it was a little conspiratorial to assume that I was literally being paid by OpenAI to make videos that, in my mind, are still critical of the notion of AI's place in the artistic and creative process. And I thought that's a little paranoid until I logged into Discord and saw that I had a message from a few days ago from someone asking me to make a YouTube video about how great AI is and promoting, I think, a video game. All of which is to say, your paranoia is real. I'm probably not the only person getting these messages, and I can't imagine that they're sending them because they don't work. I should have made more money from these videos, and at least then I'd be inoculated by a fat wad of cash that I could wrap around my heart and not deal with the criticisms that have so reasonably come my way. But here we are. I'm just a normal person making videos, not at the behest of Sam Altman. No relation. It's only our first name that's the same. It is, however, very obvious that we did have more money to make these episodes. And that's because we received some support from a funding body here in Ontario, which is where I live, called Ontario Creates. And through that, we were able to employ a bunch of my friends to work on the show. Throughout the history of This Exists, it's been me, it's been a few people, it's been me again. And no one's ever really been paid fairly to make the show. It's because we love doing the show. All of a sudden, we were in a position to pay people that I work with on a day-to-day basis, because my job is in production, a fair wage, which to me was really exciting. People love to call everything ironic, but I do think it's pretty ironic that I made this mess for myself at a time when the show was actually paying more human beings to make stuff than it ever has. But there is something that I learned here that was a creeping realization that really exploded in my face when we uploaded these videos, which is that bigger is not always better. More money, more problems, you might say. We are renting venues. We are booking gear. We are batch writing and recording episodes because that's the way to make the budget work so that everyone gets paid. And then because I think it's a more sustainable model for the channel, for myself, and I am really interested in the way that the creators that I enjoy now don't just pursue high volume, shitty traffic with like multiple weekly uploads. I decided the show should be monthly as opposed to weekly. And it'll allow us to stretch out these episodes that we're making over the course of an entire year, which is fine until you slate a triptych of videos about a rapidly changing technology for the finale because you think that that's where it'll have the most impact. And then by the time you are rolling out those episodes, you are not entirely sure that you feel the way about that technology that is captured in the videos that you wrote and recorded. over a year ago. So you sit on those videos. Maybe you wait a couple of weeks, maybe you wait a couple of months, and there is an itch at the back of your brain. A slight diversion here about YouTube and mental health, which I think is a C and D plot in this whole story. I am very fond of saying, as if I am not involved in this story whatsoever, that the most unwell people I've ever met are successful YouTubers. If you are a successful director, actor, playwright, any type of creative, you can, as a reasonable person, accept the fact that your success is due to a variety of external factors and external players. Your breakout film is the result of a director taking a chance on you. Your agent has been working with you forever. You had a fantastic drama teacher in high school. I'm mostly thinking about the movie In and Out starring Kevin Kline in this moment, I guess. With YouTube, you primarily rise and fall alone. When you're successful, it's because you are a charming genius. And when you fail, it's because you are an idiot and no one likes you. So I am itching, and I have two options in my mind. I can recut the videos, which I don't want to do because I think the videos look great. They've been very well edited. I love the way the venue looks. The bar that we shot it in has shut down. And so if I film something that looks like this, where the light keeps changing and there's trash in the background, I feel like it ruins the work that everyone who's put a lot of effort into the show has done. Option two is I just don't post them. They're like Electric Nebraska. They just go into the dustbin of history. Maybe that would have been the better option. But this is where the notion of the velvet handcuffs come in. In order to finalize my responsibilities to the very generous organization funded by my taxes that gave us the money to make the show, I need to finish the show. I need to finish the show. I need to tell them the show is done, and then we draw down the remainder of the money that is due to us, and I use that to pay the crew. And I need to finish paying the people who made the show. So I hope that the parts of these videos that are making me itch are not as bad as I think they are. And that has happened before. I've uploaded videos where I've wondered, and certainly not to the same extent, but where something about the video maybe made me uncomfortable. And it's been fine. And so I just thought, okay, this will be fine, because I think if you squint through the full arc of these 3 episodes that are uploaded on different days, that I'm expecting everyone to watch and understand what's happening in my soul in addition to what's literally happening on screen, it'll be fine. This time, the itch was right, and I was wrong. It's just like Electric Nebraska. Bruce Springsteen knew that that album was bad. We've all heard it, and we know that it sucks now. First of all, like this is the first thing that I'm saying, first of all, I do appreciate people who are defending the episodes, because I do think that if you squint and you are generous, you can see the critical points that I'm trying to make. But there are mortal errors, oversights, and mistakes in these episodes that render the argument shitty. In my mind, these are the major things that I got wrong. Environmental impact. To me, this is table stakes in any conversation about AI. I didn't include it in any of the videos. I've included baseline context before. It hasn't stopped me from explaining, like, I don't know, who Mario is. So why is that not in the videos? It's a massive oversight, and it's inexcusable, and it renders everything that follows stupid. In the metal video, which I think has some really interesting ideas and music in it, I didn't ask enough questions. Someone in the comments specifically wondered where the vocals for the Frostbite Orc Kings came from, and I don't know the answer to that question. I should have asked that question, and I didn't. I like to think of myself as a fundamentally curious person, but I'm also credulous. And maybe that's going to become a problem as we talk about some of the other issues with these episodes. Because that sloppiness undermines everything. Speaking of slop, the rap video exalts slop. It's bad. It was written at a time when I thought that some of that stuff was cool and interesting. And that's fine. But I didn't need to make a video about it because I don't think it's cool and interesting anymore. I do think the Discord community is cool and interesting, but that's just buried in an episode that is poorly considered and would have sucked if I released it in a timely manner, and just sucks so bad now. And that's why that video has been unlisted. I've included a link in the description, because if you're just watching this, you're like, what did this man do? Why is he in this basement? Why is the light like this? It's December in Toronto, but it might as well be February. If you want that context, you can watch the video, and you can see how badly I fucked the dog on this. I actually think the Vocaloid episode is good. I don't think it's perfect, but I don't think any This Exists episode is perfect. I do wonder if that episode released on its own would have been fine. What are the implications of this technology on this community? I think it's critical. I think it is thoughtful. I think it asks the right questions. But it doesn't matter, because it comes as the punctuation mark in a sentence that is stupid. It's a stupid sentence. I'm bringing a very specific background to this. I started my career as a music journalist, and a book that I wrote about the first wave of punk in Canada has actually been used to train large language models. There's a search engine called LibGen that allows you to see which books have been scraped. And it turns out that, like Stephen King, yeah, there we go. Perfect Youth, The Birth of Canadian Punk. Again, you can see why I didn't try to re-edit these videos myself. I make music, I make movies, I make these videos, I make them in rooms with people that I like making stuff with. That is what I like to do. It's my day job. It is every single one of my hobbies. It's the only thing that I like to do. So where does that leave us? I respect anybody who just totally noped out. When I was telling my wife about this, I was explaining to her that it felt different than other times that people on the internet had been mad at me, because in this instance, the people who were mad were people that I respected, and they were people who were right. This run of episodes is done. This version of This Exists is never coming back. And AI is not a topic I think any of us ever need to talk about again. If you are still, fuck this man, I respect it. And I appreciate the time that you put into watching a video this far just to be like, fuck this man. I have not been active in the comments on these videos because I couldn't handle it. Just couldn't do it. This video will be different. I will be in the comments. At some point, I might nope out of the comments, but I'll like leave a comment to be like, I'm out. I can't handle it. I appreciate that this show means something to people. And I think that was the worst part of this. The worst part of this wasn't being wrong. I am wrong all the time, as my father was fond of saying. Often wrong, never in doubt is a mantra by which I live my life. But I was wrong in a way that undermined a journey that some of us have been on now for 12 years. I am a 40-year-old man with a 13-month-old child. These videos date back to me being 28. And so for me, that's my adulthood. For some of you, it's a piece of your teenage years, your childhood. And I remember being a youth thousands of years ago, and how I would have felt if someone like me, who I'd been on that long of a journey with, did something that I thought really fundamentally sucked. And I am genuinely sorry about that. It is a gift to have this channel and to have this ongoing conversation with some of you that's lasted over a decade. I would not, as a 40-year-old man, start a YouTube channel. But this time that we've put into this thing together means that there are opportunities every couple of years to dip back in and talk to each other, to work with my friends, to make things that I think are cool, and to make things for people who care. That is an incredible gift. I'm also sorry that this video is so long and blurry, and the lighting probably changes constantly. And I'm distracted because I'm looking at myself to make sure that it's still in focus, and it's probably not, so the eyeline's fucked on it. Thank you for your time. Thank you for giving me a bunch of shit. You were right. And I think that that process is important. That's all I got. Be excellent to each other.